Hello, I'm Mark Wade with UtahGuide.com, and today I am your Utah guide for Capitol Reef National Park. This is an area that I've spent decades exploring, and so the resources I provide with you today are coming from a pretty valid source. I'm going to show you just from Los Angeles and from Salt Lake City here, from Denver and Albuquerque, and I'm going to be looking at my screen from time to time while you look on your screen, just so I can demonstrate well for you what we're seeing. And we'll take our time just to introduce you to what you should know so you can have a good experience exploring Capitol Reef National Park. So from Los Angeles, the Interstate 15 goes all the way to Salt Lake City and beyond to Canada. But that is one of the great ways to get into Capitol Reef National Park. Again, easy to come in on I-70 from Denver. And Capitol Reef National Park is kind of central southern Utah. So let's take a look at a closer map and see what we're looking at here. Capitol Reef National Park is the centerpiece, if you will, of the Utah's Mighty Five National Parks. Over this way, you've got Arches and Canyonlands National Park. Down this way, you've got Bryce and Zion National Park. And so Capitol Reef sits right in between those other four national parks. It's connected by two main highways. One is Scenic Highway 24. And then from right after the west side of Capitol Reef at Torrey, the town of Torrey, you can turn south and follow Scenic Byway 12 to Bryce Canyon National Park. Now, that's the route I would recommend. It ranges in elevations from about 5,000 to over 9,000 feet. But you have a national park and a national park on either ends of the highway. You've got a national forest right here. You've got a national monument over here on the east side, which is the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. And along the way, you have three state parks along this highway. So fantastic experience just getting to Capitol Reef that direction. Coming this direction from Highway 24, you're coming from Moab or from other points north. You would come from Green River, jump off of I-70 down 24 to the town of Hanksville, and come in the east side of the park and go right through this road, Highway 24, that goes kind of dissects this 70-mile long national park. They call it a wrinkle in the Earth's crust because it's literally that. And if we go to a Google map, this is going to give you an idea of what that wrinkle looks like. Look at this, just this upthrust where natural earthquake activity is kind of pushed. It almost looks like it's pushed it up on its side and folded these rock formations inside the park. If I were to back up and just look quickly at what's around us, this is the Henry Mountains that go over 11,000 feet. This desert area drops down to about 4,000 feet in Hanksville. So you've got about an 8,000 foot elevation change there. There are dirt roads that access the Henry Mountains. Over this way on the southwest side of the park, you've got the Boulder Mountains and you've got Thousand Lakes Mountain. Those are dissected by Scenic Byway 24, which comes through the park right through here towards Hanksville, which we were looking at in our other map. Interestingly, these two mountains, this is called Thousand Lakes Mountain and this is called Boulder Mountain, which goes up over 11,000 feet, and this one's probably close. But these names were switched by a cartographer, a map maker, over 100 years ago by accident. This one should be Boulder Mountain, this one should be Thousand Lakes. So they're reversed, Boulder Mountain. And it's a beautiful mountain complex that's got a lot of dirt roads and ways to explore it, and 80 lakes up on top of that mountain. Let's show you a few pictures of what Capitol Reef looks like. This is on the Scenic Drive, which we're going to look at in just a minute on the main map. The formations in the park, some of it's white sandstone on the upper layers, and then there are lower layers of red sandstone, which have been colored, as you may have learned in other videos we've talked about. This is colored by oxidizing iron inside the rock. So it's sandstone that's rusting. The iron inside the sandstone is rusting, making that red coloration. So you'll see white and red sandstone formations in the park. Look at all the red right here you see, and this is the Scenic Drive. And there's a lot of pioneer heritage to this. That this is an old barn that's been maintained by the park and is part of that pioneer heritage. This is looking down the Scenic Drive, which we'll look at in a minute. You'll see the white formations up on top of the red formations. The Scenic Drive is a spectacular drive. This is out on the east side of Capitol Reef National Park, and the dome-like rock formations here. This may be where this name comes from. Some of these formations, this one in particular, looks like the dome of a Capitol building, like in Washington, D.C., or Utah, and Salt Lake City has a dome-capped Capitol building for its government building in Salt Lake City. So Capitol Reef National Park gets its name from the dome-shaped formations. To the east of the park, there are some Mars and moonscape formations that we're going to talk about. This is a picture of from Boulder Mountain up at about 11,000 feet, looking down over small town of Teasdale and over into Torrey and some of this wrinkle in the Earth's crust of Capitol Reef National Park in the distance there. Let's come back to our main Google map. And thanks to Google for the use of these maps. Now, let's zoom in on Capitol Reef National Park and give you a little more of the lay of the land. Again, 70 miles in length, and this wrinkle in the Earth's crust and this main road going through the park. And this is Torrey on this side, Hanksville over here. There's some lodging and restaurants and other accommodations in small communities all along this area. And you can check utahguide.com for more information about those details. And we'll have other maps and information for you as well on our Capitol Reef National Park page. Let's zoom in on this main part of the park. What you have is Scenic Highway 24 coming through the park. And then at this point in what they call Fruta, there is the scenic drive going south. As you come in, and we'll start on the west side and come in and just talk about some of the things that you may enjoy seeing. As you travel along the highway, you're going to come across, first and foremost, you'll see some things. There's some formations here called Twin Rocks. There's an area called Sulphur Creek. And then there's Chimney Rock right here. These are all easy to see off the highway. Sulphur Creek is a hike that you can do down into the creek, into the formations. And one of the ways you can see into Sulphur Creek is from Panorama Point. It's a dirt road access just off the highway, well graded, and you can easily get up there in any good weather day. And then you can come up here and look at the overlooks into these gooseneck formations where the creek kind of wraps itself around through these canyons. Very beautiful to get to. As you come through the park here, you're actually descending in elevation from Torrey and going downhill towards Hanksville. And Hanksville is about 4,000 feet elevation. Over on the west side of the park, you have elevations in the valleys of upwards of 7,000 feet. So you're dropping 3,000 feet from the west to the east. As you come down here into the community, the main part of Capitol Reef National Park, this highway, by the way, there are no fees to drive this highway, but once you want to get into the scenic drive, there is a fee to travel down this road. You'll come into the visitor center, which is right in this area, and pay your fee. There are some other attractions here and formations that are worth seeing. There's the visitor center actually right there. Right across the street, there's a formation called the Castle. Great photo op. And then you'll start your way down this road and down the scenic drive. There is a campground in the area that they call Fruta, again from the old homesteads and fruit orchards from the pioneers that settled this area. So there is a campground you can stay if you've got an RV or a tent and you'd like to, or a place to sleep in one of your Sprinter vans, or the way people travel this day and age. And then you can come down to the scenic drive for some of the great scenic views. The Cohab Trail is accessible from not only from here, just off of after you leave the visitor center, a mile or so. That's a great hike. You do ascend in elevation, and it's accessible from off the main highway as well, near Hickman Bridge, which is about a mile-long hike back and forth each direction. And it's a bridge rock formation, looks like an arch, but it's a bridge. Bridges are carved by water. Arches in general terms are carved by wind. Arches National Park has 300 arches carved by wind primarily, and of course water has an effect. There is a longer trail that connects all the way to Cassidy Arch off of the Cohab Trail, and you can come up what is also down the scenic drive in through the Grand Wash Road here and park a vehicle and hike in down the Grand Wash to Cassidy Arch. You can come in from that end, or you can come in from there's the trailhead that doubles back to Cassidy Arch, or you can come in off the highway on the Grand Wash this way as well. And by the way, there's some petroglyphs just on the walls right here as you start this way. So if you do the whole length, you'll see those as you go. There are other great attractions down the scenic drive that you can go explore, and you can find out information on our website. As you come through the park, I'm back up here to the Highway 24. There are some great petroglyph panels that are on the canyon wall here, ancient, maybe 1,000 years old or older. And then you've got the Hickman Bridge Trail. And then you continue to descend on this highway, on Scenic Highway 24, and the Fremont River follows you as you go this way. As you come out this side of the park and past Grand Wash, you're starting to descend to the western or eastern boundary of the park, I should say. And some of those pictures that I had hinted at, the moonscape and Mars. Where's Mars? There's our Mars terrain. Those are out here on that side of the park, and we're going to show you where those are. There are a couple of other things that we think you should know about on this area of the park. There is a road. It's a dirt road. It's probably best for high clearance vehicles or four-wheel drive, but if it's graded well and the weather's good, you can do it in a two-wheel drive vehicle. But out here in the Caneville area, there's an access road that will take you to what is called Cathedral Valley. So the road comes up this way and then connects up in Cathedral Valley to the Temple of the Sun and the Temple of the Moon up here. And Cathedral Valley is another beautiful section, but more for the adventurers who have the ability to go off-road. Those who are headed east or west will want to know about this area here. These mesas right here, North and South Caneville Mesa. We're going to get our cursor so you can see those on my cursor's pointing to those. Those are great little hikes, but they're more strenuous again. But they're also up here near what is called Factory Butte. And Factory Butte is a moon-like formation that's just spectacular, and you can see pictures of those on utahguide.com. But Factory Butte is an area where you'd like to go, but it takes you just north of there. You see this moon overlook right here. There's a road that connects. And again, do this in good weather or with the right kind of vehicles. But you can come out here and look and see this moonscape. Let's see that moonscape picture right there. That literally looks like the moon. And if you come here a little further, and not that I've been to the moon, but it looks like the pictures, right? The other thing that is out this way as you head out towards Hanksville, you'll see an icon here that says Mars Desert Research Station. There is a road that comes off of Main Highway 24 here and takes you up to this research station, but into terrain that looks like Mars. And then this is the picture that we were looking at before. There's a lot of terrain that looks like this. This is from the air. But this is an area where Disney filmed the movie John Carter from Mars because it does look so much like that area. So let's come back to our map here. This will get you all the way out to Hanksville, Utah. I'm going to back out and just show you again a little bit of that lay of the land, Highway 24 going through the park, and then Scenic Byway 12, and all of this connecting between the 5 Utah national parks. That's Capitol Reef National Park in a nutshell. There's more we could tell you, but we have told you as much as we can in this short time frame. Look for more videos on details related to the areas around Capitol Reef National Park or other national parks or destinations in Utah. And thanks for joining us on utahguide.com.